Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Resero game stage. I like it. Thank you, thank you. Right, we have a very special guest up next. And without any delay, I'm just going to invite her on, Miss Annie Wersching. Can I get a huge round of applause? Please take a seat on a really comfy couch. It's better than some of the other seats. Tama, do we have a sound on? Oh, this is my fault. I should have turned you on before I came on. Not literally, I meant like the power pack.
Giggity.
There we go. So welcome.
Thank you.
So we were just talking out the back, so I'm just going to start. This is your first Comic-Con experience, right?
Yes, not even in the UK, but ever, anywhere.
How are you finding it?
It's good. It's really good. I thought it would be a little bit more crazy. You guys are a little bit too normal.
We're British,
Yeah.
right? We're very laid back and quite
calmer.
nice like that. So obviously we're here to talk about your involvement in The Last of Us. You played a pretty big character. You played Tess.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning, because that was your first video game, right?
Yeah, it was literally my first video game, even audition.
Oh, okay.
And I think my last, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, was it that bad?
No. No, I didn't mean that.
No.
I barely go in for video games, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
How did that come about then? Because you're obviously everybody knows Annie from 24.
yeah.
Yeah, and Castle as well, right? And
Yeah.
loads of other stuff.
Yeah.
So how did the video game role come around?
I just got a random. I had a voice agent, a new voice agent, and they sent me in on this audition, and it was a live audition, meaning like Troy Baker was there for my audition, and had to have the scenes memorized, and we did them up on our feet, kind of like a play. And and they started with, I think, the scene where she tells him that she got bitten, and so it was a very emotional, intense scene, and it felt, my background is in theater, so it felt very familiar because it was very theatrical, and and then next thing I knew, we were doing it.
Did you do many voiceovers as well? Or is that one of your first voiceover role in everything?
That's the one and only, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you said, would you do more of this kind of thing? Because video games now are completely different to what they were like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, no, I would love to. It just randomly, I hardly ever, even though this was a huge game, I hardly ever even am up for them. I don't know why.
Did you know about the video game industry going into it? I mean, did you know how big it was and what kind of a title it was going to be?
I did a little bit. I mean, I knew Naughty Dog was a big one, and but no, I was a little bit on the outside of it.
How did it feel getting on the inside of a completely brand new industry?
It was really cool. I mean, especially to start with a game that was such a hit and such, had such a fan reaction. And again, there was so many cut scenes, like cinematic actual scenes that were in it. That was really fun. That was a part of it.
Was that your first experience of mocap as well?
Yes.
How was that?
Yes. Very strange. I mean, you kind of just have to forget about it, because you're in these intense situations and scene works, and the person you're looking at looks absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, because they got the camera on the front of their face, right? Was it one of those? Because there's all kinds of different mocap,
No, it's
right?
like you're in the middle of almost a room like this, and there's 90 cameras all around you that you don't even notice or see where they are. And so you just have to be in the scene. I mean, they build everything. If you're jumping off of a truck or a...
We get the mocap here.
Yes, lovely. But they see, like, the bars and stuff behind. That was like a building we had to, like, climb up so that they get your actual motions. So you just have to kind of give over to the fact that we look ridiculous. Yeah.
I've always wanted to know, how comfortable are those suits?
They're a little itchy.
Yeah.
But Troy actually gave me a couple hints. You have different things to wear underneath, and different the secrets.
Does it get hot under there? Because how long are you in the suit for?
A little bit. They can be long days for sure. Maybe 8 or 9 hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And how long were you in the mocap for?
Oh gosh, I think it was like a year and a half or something.
Wow.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Just going back and forth, I take it. I assume not year and a half straight,
not a year and a
right?
half. Like I would, do it a bunch over a couple of months and then not do it at all for a couple of months. And yeah.
And at the time, what were you doing on TV? Where does that fall in the timeline?
That is a good question. I think I was doing a Dallas, maybe. I was on Dallas for a while.
Was it tricky to go back and forth?
Yeah.
have you kind of adjusted to that
Yeah,
now?
I've pretty much adjusted to it. Like I said, it was nice that it was such a theatrical, so based, theatrically, that it didn't feel too strange. Besides the outfits.
Are your children gamers?
No, well, they're 1 and 4. So
Oh, okay, so not
quite.
yet,
It's a
but
different kind of game, like
yeah, they might be.
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse games. Yeah.
So let's talk about the character Tess per se. You got involved with her. How was she pitched to you when you went into the original, the screen test?
I think just that she was a hardened survivor, and I think I had 2 scenes. So basically, you don't really know auditions in general. You never really know too much more than the scene you have in front of you. Luckily, the test was with Neil Druckmann, the director, and Troy. So if you have any questions, you can ask. But I usually just try to go off the words that are right in front of me, and go from there. That's attractive.
There's obviously a lot of pivotal moments for the character. You're talking about when you got bitten.
Yes.
I mean, how did you get into the role of changing? Because she changes a lot from the beginning to the her end. And I'm fairly sure that's not a spoiler now. It's been out for a while and remastered. So I mean, in terms of like, how did you manage that transition? Was it hard? Was it tricky?
It's hard to even really remember. No, it wasn't too hard. I mean, she always has had a pretty intense driving force, and so then it just kind of switched for her. Like, she just needed to get Joel to agree to take Ellie on his own, and that was her new MO, and she just had to, she knew she was on a time crunch, obviously, how quickly it was progressing, and so yeah, she just kind of had a little bit of a different end game.
Yeah, literally. Did you have any favourite scenes that you thought, that's brilliant kind of thing?
Probably the one where she finally reveals to Joel. Probably that one. Again, that was one of the ones I first did with him, audition-wise. So, and then also I think it's the first one you see of her where she comes in and he doesn't believe that she got the ration card, whatever that scene was.
Yeah.
She's like, come on, let's go. I know where he's hiding. That one probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not a gamer yourself, right? You don't play video games much?
I'm not, but I did play some of this.
So have you got to experience?
Yeah, for sure. And I have nothing against them. I just have, 2 very young children.
Yeah, for sure.
Take up my time.
Yeah, and eventually they'll do it. And how do you think that moment's going to be when they play through this classic game and it's like, hey, that's Mom?
Yeah.
What's Mom doing in the game?
It'll be a while, I think, till they can see that gore. But hopefully, it'll be kind of cool, right? Eventually, it'll be like, hey, guess what my mom did?
Yeah. And obviously, video games getting bigger and bigger as well. By the time you might come back and do some more.
Yeah. Or maybe by the time they're playing video games, this will be tame.
Yeah, for sure, right? Yeah. It advances quite quickly.
Yeah.
So, I got to ask this. Obviously, The Last of Us is now becoming a movie.
Yeah.
Is there any conversations been going on? Have they,
I know Neil is in the middle of writing it. He was our director, so he's also writing the movie. So I just said, hey, I need a chance to at least audition for Tess, So hopefully that'll happen. I feel like I'm one of the ones that age-wise is somewhat similar. That there's at least a chance, maybe, that
for sure.
Could be right for who
Fingers
knows?
crossed, right?
Who knows, yeah.
What was it like working with Troy? I mean, because this was your first role.
Yeah.
I assume it was the first time you met Troy as well.
Yeah.
What was it like working with Troy? Because Troy is like the big guy.
He's the big guy. Troy is hilarious. He's amazing. I mean, he never, the second you're done with the take, he is like quoting every movie you've ever heard of. He probably does it when you've met him at different talks and stuff, but he can do every voice, every character. He knows like every song, he's always doing some kind of crazy.
So he's fun to work with, right?
Oh my God, he's a blast, yeah. Ashley too.
Oh, of course, yeah. What was it like working with Ashley? Because it's a weird one, Ashley, right? Because Ashley's playing a really young child.
Yeah, but I watched her on The Growing Pains, so she's still, she started as a young child in my mind. No, she's sweet. It was her first mocap too.
Oh wow, so you kind of bonded over that moment, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this suit's itchy. Let me get it off.
Yeah.
Let me put some long johns on. That's a British kind of word. So did Troy give you any advice then for being the voice acting aspect, considering he's done so much and he's so experienced?
I don't think he really did in terms of the actual voice stuff. I think, honestly, the only suggestions he gave me were about the suit. I mean, I remember him tweeting me like a direct message before my very first day, just being like, wear this underneath the suit, I think that was his main concern, is to make people comfortable. Probably because he knows then if you're comfortable, you're free to do the scene work and stuff. But in terms of character and voice, no, not really.
Oh, okay. So you just kind of got involved, got stuck in.
He's so professional and so into it that it's hard not to do the same. It's usually like that with actors in a scene.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What was it like working with Neil? I mean, did he give you a little bit of freedom to change the character much, or was it like stick to the script?
No, he's amazing. This was, I think, his first time ever directing anything, and I was like, this is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Like he would let us do a pass at it once, and then he would just very quietly come up and whisper like this one little thing. And I love it when a director gives you one thing and you're like, oh yes, like why didn't I think of that? That's brilliant, And he was exactly that, and just very subtle notes and very unassuming and no ego at all, and he's awesome. Yeah.
So how many in the mock-up studio when you're actually doing your scene? Are there like 20, 30 people? Or is
how many people?
Yeah, is it quite
depends.
intimate?
There's usually, like, as far as in the actual scene, there's, I think, 4 guys working cameras in the corners, and then there's a bunch of people over at the computers doing super smart stuff.
So I'm going to ask this as well. 24, obviously.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Annie for 24. Big role in 24. Yeah. Was there any mention of a 24 video game when you were there and voicing the role?
No, I never heard anything about that, about a video game. I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's something we should try and start.
We should get that going.
Get Kiefer, get you back kind of together.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to wander into the audience and I'm going to take some audience questions. Okay. So if anybody has any questions, if you could please raise your hand. I'm going to grab a stick mic and turn it on. Testing. There we go. We're going to jump straight in the question here. Hi, can you stand up, please? Thank you very much.
Hi there. So, after The Last of Us came out, they revealed there was a slightly different thread the story could have gone on, where Tess was more of an antagonist. How do you think you would have felt with that role?
Yeah, I didn't hear that till way later, but I mean, I feel like I've played a good share of characters that are leaning towards the dark side now, so it would have been fun. And hey, maybe she would have lived a little bit longer, maybe. But I mean, I loved the role that she served, and I loved sort of how she protected Ellie and was the one who sort of got Troy to take on the role and form their friendship that they had, the relationship with Troy and Ellie. But no, that would have been fun too. Yeah.
Excellent. Questions? There we go, right down the front, nice and easy. Hi, can you stand up, please? Thank you.
Hi. I was just wondering, like, how exhausting it was, because obviously when you see it, you just sort of see all the cinematics and think that's what it is, but then you obviously have to do all the running upstairs and getting knocked over. I just wondered, did they do that? Like, was that all in, like, did you just have days of just being pushed, or did you sort of do it at the end of filming the cinematics?
Yeah, so if it was an actual, like, gameplay mode or, you know, the in and out of a scene, they would literally, wherever we were in the game, like if we're running through a tunnel or climbing up something, they would literally build something that looked exactly like that. It was usually just like metal, whatever, but it would be the exact height, shape, you know, everything so that your body is doing actually what it would be doing if you were actually doing that. So there was a lot of that, and, you know, running and jumping off of something and landing, you know, and they'd be like, okay, do it again, but like bend your knees more, and just like random stuff that you're like, okay. And then at the very, very end, like months later, I had to go into the voice studio and just do like, you know, grunts and different, you know, being bitten and just stuff that they would have backup voice stuff to cover it, and tons of just when you're like in game mode and you're just going, like if the player is going the wrong direction or stuff, you know, and then Tess will pop up and be like, this way, you know. but then they would want like 6 versions of that. So you'd have to say this way, and then you'd have to go over here. You're doing it wrong, like whatever, like 6 different random things to get the player to go, oh, I should go to the right or whatever, So random stuff like that at the end, which I feel like I wasn't as good as that stuff as I was. I feel like I was more comfortable and better when it was actually a scene, when I was like, I knew where I was going and I knew where I was ending up, but yeah.
How did you deal with that, the fact that you had to do all these grunts? Usually you have a scene and you act out the scene, and this is like grunt 1, grunt 2, grunt 3, grunt 4.
Yeah,
That must have been quite surreal for you, right?
It was strange, and like I said, I was new to the voice world in general, and these guys, it's all they do. So it probably took me a little bit longer to kind of warm up and get into it, and they're just like, oh, grunt number 1, and they just reel it out, but I got it eventually, yeah.
Excellent. Right, questions. There we go. Stand up, please, sir. Thank you.
Hi, I'm a massive fan of the game. The alternate ending of The Last of Us, where Troy Baker has to sing his final scene. Did you ever feel like you wanted to be part of that?
The one where he sang, is that what you said?
Yeah. Would you like to be part of that, sort of like do a scene when you sing?
Yeah, that would have been really fun. I don't know if you saw, but we did the live version of a few of the scenes of The Last of Us, and Troy and Merle did that scene again where they sang. I think that started as a joke, right? They told Merle, okay, we're going to do one more take. Troy's going to think that this is what you're asking about, right? Yeah, okay. They told Merle, okay, we're going to do one more take. We're not going to tell Troy what we're doing. I want you to sing. And Merle's like a Broadway star. So they told her to sing her lines for the next scene and like try to throw him off and whatever. And he went, like, in a second, he just sang back to her, completely improv'd it and had no idea that was happening, and they rocked it. That's why they actually recreated it for the night that they did the live version. But that would have been awesome. I don't know that I would have done it as well as him. I mean, I'm a singer, but I think I would have laughed,
What was it like performing live on stage compared to being in a booth? Well, you've never been in a booth before, right? Or have you been in a...
Well, no, I mean, but I did go in the booth a lot for part of this, for like the come this way kind of stuff. I don't know if they mean the live performance or the fact that when we
like the mocap versus the booth, right?
No, that was preferred for me because, like I said, I have a theater background, and that almost felt like doing theater in the round because the cameras were capturing you from every side. So you were just, realistically in that space doing those scenes. It was comfortable for me. Yeah.
Any more questions? I'm coming down this side now. There we go, right at the front. Stand up, please, sir. Thank you very much.
Hiya. I was wondering, what was it like to work with the legend Kiefer Sutherland?
Oh, it was good. It was good. I was a huge 24 fan before I started on that show, so that was a little surreal. And I remember being very, very nervous. And I had done a pilot with John Cassar and Joel Cerno leading up to that didn't go. And at a wrap party for that pilot, I went to a party at John Cassar's house, and I was eyeballs like this because there was Chloe and Tony Almeida, and I was like, this is just, it tripped me out a little bit. But no, Kiefer was great, very professional, obviously a pro at this, and takes the scene work very seriously, and has an amazing ability to look at the scene and assess any sort of tweaks that would need to happen with the writing, and that just looked like right there on the spot. He would rewrite it, and it was always better and awesome, and that was cool to me because I do not have that talent. I just want to have the lines given to me and do my best to say them. But no, he was great. Yeah.
Did he give you any advice when you got in? Because obviously your character evolves massively from the beginning to the end. Did he give you any advice when you went a little bit Jack Bowery?
No, I mean, we just kind of had to find the relationship on our own. If it had to be her turning that way, but from her own place, not necessarily through him.
For sure. Questions? Can I see hands? Right. Any from the live stream, Lee? No. Any more? Wander down here. If anybody else isn't, I'm just going to ask 24 questions for the rest of the session. So, how did you get involved with 24 then? Because I'm going to talk 24 now.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Like I said, I had just done a pilot with one of the creators and one of the directors from 24.
Yeah.
A Fox pilot called Company Man.
Was it just a natural kind of, you did that and then it's like, we've got another role?
No, I mean, I did that. I had auditioned for a couple of things in 24. I auditioned for Nadia. Remember 6 maybe?
Yeah, for sure.
So I had gone in a couple of times, and then, that pilot didn't go, and so they brought me in for Renee. I mean, when the pilot didn't go, I was like, oh, maybe I could audition for a guest star on 24 next year. You know, I had no idea it would end up being a character as awesome as Renee. But, I went in for multiple times, and there was it was good.
So you said you're a fan.
Yeah.
That's the line that everyone uses. Like,
Yeah.
you genuinely really
Oh my gosh, I can remember watching live when it very first started in my little tiny crappy Hollywood apartment with my friend Frank Fowle, who is like barely a friend of mine anymore, but it's very vivid in my head, like holed up, ready to watch like the first season. So no, I was legit. Yeah.
Can you settle a debate for me here?
Oh, my hair.
There you go. I'm going to read this while this is gone. Can you settle a debate for me here? What was the best season? And what was the best season overall and your favorite season that you were in?
I did. Okay, well, I've got to go best season overall. Different ones for different reasons, but I probably would go 5. Just because Gregory Itzin and Gene Smart were so brilliant. But season 1 was awesome because it was the first one and it was such a new, world. Nowadays shows kill off main characters all the time, but when 24 was doing it in the beginning, it was a big deal. No one was doing that, and just the real time aspect of it.
Was that hard to manage, or was that all done at the script level? So was that hard to manage for you, acting the real time aspect? Because it must be quite hard to create a show. It's like you have literally got 3 minutes to do this scene, so you can't improv. You have to stick to the script. You can't dilly-dally, because it's seconds, right? And they get it perfectly to fit in.
I would say more so it was harder for me when I transitioned out of that world. Because I was so used to, there was such, a time crunch and everything that when I would go to other shows, they'd be like, can you not talk as fast? I might be like, but the world is ending.
Yeah.
So it was probably the opposite. I got really comfortable in that, the fast pace of 24, that when I went somewhere else. Yeah. I've
always been intrigued. Is that how they build the episodes? Is it basically this scene's got to last for 3 minutes, or is it more the editing side that?
No, I mean, they know that to the T. They know how much time for each commercial break. How much time they have left after that comes back. It's written like that, and the script supervisor is the one on set that really has really knows exactly, keeps track of all of that. Yeah.
So there's a couple of questions from the stream. So. Heading back to video games, I know you said you'd like to get back involved and do stuff like that and more voiceovers. I mean, in terms of your knowledge of video games, do you know franchises that you might want to do, characters that you know?
No.
What about a Renee Walker in 24? A Renee Walker 24 game?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
we have a lot of projects we're going to set up.
We'll pitch it, right?
Yeah.
All right, any more questions quickly? No. Right, can I get a huge round of applause for Annie Wersching? Thank you very much, folks.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be back in about 20 minutes, so do stick with us. We've got the very amazing John Robertson on next. Thank you very much, Annie. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.